noticed a lot of people like CPU cooler reviews, so I figured it's time for another one. So we have the WATERFORCE 2 240 by Gigabyte. It's compatible with AM5 and the Intel 1700 socket. You know, it's a funny story about this. I was actually trying to do a video about the same exact cooler the other day, but I ended up getting this one. This is the WATERFORCE X 280. This is the WATERFORCE 2 240. The only difference is this one supports newer CPUs than this one. This is the previous gen. But the good news is that I can actually fit the bracket from the other cooler onto this one, and we can still do a review on this. The safety seal's broken. It's already been open. I ended up realizing, oh, well, this doesn't have an AM5 bracket, so I had to put this one on standby until I got the WATERFORCE 2. So let's get the WATERFORCE 2 open and show you what's inside. It has lighting. It shows you the fans. It has a daisy chain for the quick connect fans and rotatable design. So here's all the specs so that you can make sure that this pump and CPU cooler fits inside your case if too small. Alright. Some more. It looks like a warning. Yeah, just environment stuff. Alright. First glance. Instructions, how to install it. And it looks like for this product, you have to assemble the fans. Sometimes they come with pre-installed fans, sometimes they don't. That's your fan right there. This is your radiator attached to your pump. That's your pump and your brackets. Let's move that to the side. Get the other fan out. We already took the other fan out. Put that on top. And slowly get the pump out. Oh, you also have the RGB adapter. There we go. It has a copper connection to the CPU, so that's good. Copper is more active metal than aluminum. And here's your radiator. So first things we're going to be doing is disassembling this and assembling the fans on this. First get the pump itself. It still gets... Let's take the radiator out. So get these, taking these screws out. Carefully remove the pump. Ooh, it's dusty. Alright. Last thing for the uninstall is to get rid of these brackets and put the new ones on there. Okay. What are you doing? You're so cute, but look at her hiding. Look at her hiding. Look at Lily hiding. What you doing? Let's get to the installation process first. We're gonna have to pre-install the fans ourselves. Well, not pre-install the fans, but you know, install the fans ourselves. Usually they come pre-installed with some coolers, but sometimes they don't. Ain't no big deal. They ain't that hard. As you can see, we got these prongs on the end. So usually with this design, the only thing you really need to do is pretty much clip them together, which this is the first time I have something like this that doesn't have a wire or a short distance wire that connects them kind of together, but this is more of a snap connect. So I'm gonna be figuring this out just as I'm presenting as well. So once I figure it out, I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, so I found out that this is actually a cap. You can barely tell. I couldn't tell at first, even looking at it straight in person. But yeah, that's a cap. So if you get this product, that's a cap. don't try to install them with the cap on. I tried to do it earlier and I was confused. I didn't force it though, but make sure get the cap off. Alright, so it's one piece now, and you can easily put it on the radiator as one piece. So actually, I feel dumb. This is actually the wire that goes to these fans to connect to the motherboard. So I'm going to connect this before I screw that in. Alright, so the other cap side. The little prong so that it can stay in place. There you go. I put them in backwards. Alright, it's done the right way. Alright. So, next get our AM5 screws, and turns out this doesn't use a bracket, it just uses the screws to mount it. Alright, that's one. Let's get the other three. Alright, the mounting screws are on. And now all we gotta do is fit the pump and fit the cooler in there. Alright, and it's fully installed with the screws. So, now we just gotta get the pump in. This warning label. Alright. They give you a no brand, generic, just empty, transparent, well not empty, sorry, transparent tube of thermal paste. I like that it's transparent, but the no brand is kind of sketchy. I don't know how good it is. Yeah, I might use it, test a little bit, and then put my own thermal paste with brand. I like Arctic, but this would do. So, take these thumb screws and hand tighten them on. This also rotates. So that your LCD is in the right way. Let's show you the wiring. So for my example, for others it will be different as far as placement, but the concept's still the same. For me it's going to be a little different because I'm linking case ARGB into a, let me show you. This is the CPU fan or pump wire, and this is the ARGB. So what we're going to do, actually, since it's convenient right here, I think I'm going to plug the ARGB from the CPU into the case lights, because the case lights up. That way the CPU and case are linked together. We're going to connect these two together. So there's these arrows on here to signify how they go without actually looking at the holes versus prongs. So there's one right here and one right there. So all you gotta do is just line the arrow up with the other arrow. It should look like this. So we got the pump lights installed. So let's install, I'm gonna do some cable management in a minute. But for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna show you how this is done first before I even organize. So, CPU fan for me is right near the CPU power port. So you see that white thing, if I can focus in, is going to be connected in there. For your motherboard, it's going to be different. You're just going to look for CPU fan on the motherboard. Most modern motherboards have it labeled. If it's older, it may not be labeled. I seriously doubt anyone's going to use a CPU cooler like this on an older motherboard. So just look for the CPU branding and line up the cables with that white part sticking out. So in that case, that goes face down. Now we're gonna install the fans. It's on the other side, right here. Okay, so I got both wires routed towards the front. One ARGB and one CPU, or sorry, system fan plug. This is for the fans, and self-explanatory, they go in whatever is labeled system fan and your motherboard. So it comes with little adapters with the motherboard so you can plug fans in. So if you have a fan system like this, plug it into your adapter. And just plug it in. And the second one is going to go to the ARGB, which is going to actually have to be in the motherboard and not daisy chained. So what you would do is you would look for your ARGB or 3-prong right there. You see that? It's right under this wire. Damn it. It's right under this wire. See that 3 prongs? If it says ARGB and it has 3 prongs, that's where you hook it in. So we're gonna hook it in there. Make sure you line that up correctly. Alright, with that installed, now we just gotta do a little cable management and then plug this in and review it. So, we'll be right back. Okay, so I got a little place set up for SleeperBlade right here. And I got the cable management pretty decent. So, at least it's out of the way of the fans. And we're gonna get the results of the cooling on the CPU, both at idle and gaming. So let's jump into that right now. And it turns out that this is not an LCD display. I thought it was. It was very... It looked like one, but no, that's just the logo. All this syncs into your motherboard, so RGB fusion is how you change the lights. You can change it with the GPU, the RAM, and the motherboard. I got it on purple. And the pump is basically controlled from the motherboard. The RAM can be independently set, and the GPU can be independently a different color. But the rest of it, such as the pump and the fans, are linked together, as well as any motherboard RGB you may have, if you have an RGB motherboard. So, with this you get Wi-Fi compass, RGB, fan control, silent, normal, full speed, and manual. Alright, then you got your performance. I'm going to click no because I don't want to. Then your SSD tool, which shows your SSDs and storage. So the main thing we want is the CPU temperature because this is a CPU cooler. So we're going to close out of that. It looks like the CPU at idle is running 47.4 Celsius. In a room with no AC, I would say it's like, yeah, it's not hot in here. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. If that is the correct temperature, 54 to 56 Celsius on the CPU. Now, this is only a 6-core processor. If it was something like an 8-core or more than that, it would probably show maybe temperatures maybe 60, but 54 Celsius is pretty good. Alright, so to wrap this up, it's showing great temperatures. Let's do a little quick comparison between the Core 2 from Master Cooler, and you'll see the Core 2 had the advantage in idle temperatures by like 3 or 4 points here, but where the WATERFORCE shines the most is the gaming temperature, and that comes up to be 8 degrees less than the Core 2. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new and got this far. I'm going to be covering another CPU cooler review soon, maybe a GPU review in there. But anyway, I'll catch you guys for the next video. I'm going to see if I can fit the bracket from this cooler onto the X and see if we can do a review even on that one. So other than that, take care, everybody.